Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center as we continue to celebrate your world of magic and miracles up here on the elevated platform of living by constantly reveling in the origin of us all. Genya shared her freedoms of joy and delight on Wednesday. And on Friday, David detailed for us the journey we have all taken. In fact, he just answered my acknowledgement of his broadcast with, "We all have gone through a lot to get to this place where we can be together, look out for, and support one another, no matter where we are and what we are doing. We call it family, but in reality, we've always been together, and so glad we're together again now." That is why our growing global family gathers here 3 times a week, where we transmit freedom from hidden restrictions of human programming. My invitation this week was inspired by Michelangelo's David. This magnificent sculpture at the Accademia Gallery, yeah, the David is at the Accademia Gallery and attracts many millions of visitors to Florence, Italy each year. My cousins who are touring in Italy posted their photo of the David on Facebook. And this brought a flood of wonderful memories for me and wonderful comments from many others. The year was 2004, and I was on a European concert tour with my choir, the Fairfield County Chorale in Connecticut, where I lived before I met Robert. You enter the gallery, and David, standing 17 feet tall, is quite a distance from you at the very end of this hall, which is filled with many partially completed sculptures of men struggling to free themselves from the constriction of the marble rocks that they are in. Perhaps you have read The Agony and the Ecstasy. That's the life story of Michelangelo. He found this huge discarded solid block of marble and spent the next 2 years creating the David that has thrilled so many. My own son David commented, "The emotional impact of seeing the David brought me to tears. The power of his genius and artistry are indescribable. I kept thinking about the fact that David was inside the rock all the time, not created, but uncovered by the master." It is truly an art to reveal what is hidden in a piece of marble, and an even greater art to reveal what is in your innermost being. As a counselor and coach, I have worked with many and know and feel the perfect state residing deep within each one, no matter how deep, concealed, and hidden it is by human programming. There is nothing but freedom in your field, but the remnants of early programming are still floating around in the many thousands of hiding places that are used to maintain your so-called natural tendencies. There will be many new circumstances that show the hidden rules and regulations that you've stored away. And as a result, you will gradually discard each one and accept the freedom that it reveals. The security of your being is no longer based on the forces that are produced by your assessment of being within the bounds of all your rules. You are able to maintain your balance in the universal field without such forces. And there is nothing more exciting than feeling that you are secure because of freedom itself. The need for comparison with known standards disappears when you are in the world of magic and miracles, and there is no need to look for a replacement. Beauty, strength, and power are yours as you become aware of your extended capability and the simplicity of your connection to the various fields that command the magic and bring miracles into your everyday life. Following your spirit becomes a normal event, and the need to explain yourself in logical terms becomes just a tiny speck on the screen of life that is rarely noticed and never visited. Needless to say, my professional training never came within miles of regarding the one in question other than as a label carrying a diagnosis and a recommended treatment plan. If I still held a position in the healthcare industry, I would most definitely invite David Best to address the staff, including everyone coming in contact with another. Everyone would benefit from these words of wisdom that David wrote. And it's called Under Repair. Our fields have had to receive constant maintenance because of the density of the dimension that we exist in. There has been so much programming to overcome, and each moment that we transcend an aspect of that program, we literally close a hole in our field. Each concept that we have agreed to and added to our belief system creates a weakness in the field that can easily be breached and used as an entry point for our mental, physical, and spiritual dysfunction. If you watch and listen carefully to someone, you can see the opening in their field when they begin to speak about and accept the non-truths that have come from the programming. You can see where something can infiltrate their field through that thinking. It's like when the protective barrier of a boat, which is the hull, has a small hole, and you can see that there is water leaking out. You know that if this is not repaired, the hole will become larger over time. In the beginning, only small amount of bacteria from the ocean can enter. But as the hole gets bigger, deadly eels are able to get in until finally, when the hole gets so big that the boat starts sinking and sharks are free to enter. It's difficult to see the leaks in yourself. It is much easier to see them in others, but know that they have existed in all of us. We are fortunate that through that aspect of you that sees everything, as well as those around you who have the ability to see your field, is constantly being mended and strengthened with the truth that transcends the belief systems of the programs of control and illusion. And because everything is connected, When you close one leak, you are closing others at the same time. It's like when you believe that doctors are the arbiters of healing, then you must also believe in medications and hospitals and pharmacies and sickness as a part of your world. But when you know that, firstly, there is never anything wrong, and secondly, that if there is a disturbance in your field, you are your own healer, then all those beliefs fall down like dominoes and disappear as if they never existed, because in reality, they never, ever did. Your field becomes much stronger with the elimination of just one belief system. There is nothing that can quantify the increased strength, but it is exponentially greater. And soon your field will only provide enhancement for those that you encounter, so that you are assisting in the freedom of others, just as you were assisted yourself. And as your field continues to grow stronger, there will be no outside influence that will be allowed to penetrate the hull, so that you will always float above all the waves in harmony and peace, and your vessel will no longer be under repair. And it will be christened with your name, followed by the words, the Magnificent, and return to sea, as all great vessels are to be a beacon of light for every ship upon the face of the earth. Wow. There's power in those words, and reading them is more than remarkable. Now, back to that audience in the hospital that David was addressing. For the first time, this professional audience listening to David would give him a standing ovation for speaking to each of their original desires to help people who have lost their way and find themselves shut away in an institution. In response to their enthusiastic invitation to return and reveal even more undeniable truths, I would read now a piece by Robert Young, and it is called The Art of Decoupling. This will be shared and transmitted. Everyone needs to hear this. The limiting factors in life are not as real as they seem. They are put in place by one single action and maintained by self-talk and reaction within each person's anatomy and lifestyle. In most cases, a change in environment or a major change in circumstances will allow the focus on these factors to move, and before long, they drift into the background and disappear. Movement in the field around any person will do exactly the same thing. If, as an individual, you encourage all changes and deliver only new experiences to your consciousness. The art of decoupling your field and sending it out into the trees and beyond into the galaxy with your sparkles of magic can never be underestimated. The continued movement of your field and the delivery of sparkles to everyone will enhance the experience of all things and immediately melt away all limitations in the process. There is nothing more to say at this point except that your vision of reality is changing, and nothing is as it seems if you look from a vantage point that does not include magic. The inclusion of the unknown with its special magic will allow everything to flow, and all that you think will change into a totally different experience of joy and happiness in every moment. Those two writings are so important. It's amazing. It truly is amazing. When I began to speak just before about how we are all transmitting freedom from hidden restrictions of human programming, I am recognizing my fervent prayer that I made in 1976 when I was a therapist in an institution where I recognized so many special beings misunderstood and who became my friends while the administration considered them less than human. That was over 40 years ago. My prayer is answered and transmitted as I read David's words. And this is what I wanted to be able to tell everyone. And now it's here. And someone is trying to text us. Yeah. And David wrote, that is all. That is who we really are. It's all about the connections. That's who we are. That's what we live for. Unseen and unspoken in the physical, a conversation that is happening behind the scenes. We are beings that bring into the physical something that cannot be fully comprehended, but it involves a transfer of energy that is multi-layered and coded with the full spectrum of our being. Our bodies, these masterpieces of technology, are the vehicles for the interactions that allow these transmissions. And it is these transmissions that we share back and forth that are the only thing that matter. That's why you smile. A look from your eyes or a gesture with your hand is greater than any achievement you could ever produce. It's because the achievement never, ever matters. It's the connection of your pure being with that of another. That being that sits behind your body and is never attached to the machinations of goal setting or achievement, what I am describing is not new to you. I am just painting the picture with bolder colors so that the important parts of the painting are able to stand out. Think of a moment when you looked in someone's eyes and smiled. In that moment, time stands still and nothing else matters. That is who we really are. In that moment, you don't think of your body, you don't think about your career, you don't think about the kind of car you drive or how much money you have. Those are the things that the illusion and the programming have pushed to the forefront and trained humankind to make a focus. But they couldn't eliminate our true essence. So they were never going to really be able to control our focus and attention. The greatest athletes who win the biggest game of the year find themselves left with a feeling of emptiness, many will say. I thought I would feel different. And after achieving this goal, and they sit at their locker and wonder, what now? And then they remember all the connections along the way, the smiles, the hugs, and the handshakes, and the beings that they connected with, and they return to their true nature. So, because that nature cannot be eliminated from us, we can never really be fully controlled, and the path back to yourself will always exist in the beauty of a smile, a big smile, a gentle smile, a loud smile, or a quiet smile, done with your mouth, your eyes, your hands, or your body. It matters not which you choose. Begin to pay attention to those little moments, and you will disappear from the world of doing, for you will enter headlong into the world of being, a world that has been right in front of you since the day you were born, where everything and everyone is waiting to connect. What I am telling you is impossible to describe in words. You can only experience it. And experience it you have, for it is the language of life. And we are living this life in all its amazing colors. This has not been our world, and we are not from here. This has not been our standard operating procedure, but now we are bringing our world here, and it will be our new home. And we will operate from that place that we always had inside us, that place of sovereignty, beauty, power, gentleness, and harmony, connected to it all, because we were created to connect. It's all there is. And that is who we really are. Thank you, David. I thank you all for joining me today. Spirit takes charge as these broadcasts take shape, and I was powerfully directed to Simeon and Robert's broadcast of May 20th, 2015. I will share a portion of that magnificence with you now. It's a little hard to even speak after that. Well, I promised, so I'll just read a little bit. Good evening. This is Simeon coming to you from the outer reaches of the universe, bringing you energies to support your day and to take you further into the world of your Creator. As we listen to the chatter in the physical world, there is so much repetition that it's hard to say what comes next and what was heard before. As we listen this time, it's our intention to bring the energies to everyone that will make them stop the repetition and allow the newness of the beautiful energies of the universe to fill their being and maintain some form of attention to the things that are heading their way. Right now, there are many, many special beings throughout the world and throughout the universe who have focused on this time where it is most prudent for everyone to get the most out of life they possibly can. To look for an explanation is a waste of time, but we'll give you one so you don't have to look anymore. The reason the energies have been working diligently from all areas of the universe and from the earth itself is that it is time when all things converge into a random order that is the closest thing to perfection we have ever known. The input of humanity itself is one of the key factors in bringing all this about. The power that is wielded by humanity as an entity is enormous, and the power that is wielded by each individual is more again. To explain how that can be, we have to take you to where everything is different to what is right now in the environment that you're in. And as I speak, you'll feel a change that has nothing to do with any manipulation or movement. The change has to do with the realization of something you've never heard of before. It has no name, but it is far beyond the elegance that anybody has ever experienced. With all the energies coordinated in this most unusual pattern, all the features of the actions and reactions of the world and the people and the planets will change. They will change so that they can blossom into something so magnificent that it is hard to see even from where I stand. It sounds like a serious matter, but in fact, it is the most lighthearted, easy exercise that has ever been taken on. The detail is enormous, the scope is enormous, but because it is a new, natural flow with natural resonance and with original music, it can perform with joy and change to such an extent that your personal input will feel like it's less, even though it goes up by many millions of times. Your personal influence in everything is about to be one of the greatest gifts to you, to the world, and to all those who venture towards the process of showing their skill in the physical world. You've heard many times that there will be people lining up to visit Earth, and it's happening now for those of you who are here and about to receive so much assistance from all those who can see this in their path in the future that you won't have to do anything. And it goes on with more and more promise as we enter 1,000 years of peace and joy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Yeah. I feel each and every one of you. And it feels like the first time I'm saying, I wish you a perfect life, perfect health, and a truly magic future. Thank you.